Introducing the GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system, where durable label production has never been easier. Imagine a device that not only prints labels, but laminates, digital die cuts, removes the waste media from the print matrix, slits the finished labels and drops them into a catch tray, and is simple enough to use that anyone in your group can run it, and from anywhere. That's the GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system. It literally brings label printing to a whole new level. Instead of being forced to place label orders for quantities that exceed your need, and where excess labels often go to waste, the GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system provides the freedom of printing the exact number and types of labels you need, when you need them. In fact, by the time it takes to order outsourced labels, you can create the same label with the GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system, with no minimums or setup costs. Because of its thermal transfer printing process and lamination, the GrafTech LCX603 label printer produces labels that can stand up to years of exposure. They will hold up under the toughest environments, including exposure to water, chemicals, abrasion, and are fade resistant even in direct sunlight. While it is great for producing labels for short-run uses such as prototyping and temporary product labeling, it is also suitable for volume label needs required in manufacturing, such as custom identification labels, compliance labels, UID military labels, basic retail product labels, manufacturing, electronic labeling, medical UID labels, labels for serial numbers, and barcoding. Built with ruggedness in mind, the GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system design brings features such as an advanced thermal head construction with 600 DPI printing for crisp, clear labeling, providing you a higher print quality for the most intricate text, graphics, and barcodes with dead-on accuracy and readability. The GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system doesn't limit you to just one spot color either. It allows for 2 other spot color ribbons, totaling 3 ribbon colors that can be used for creating multiple color labels. Simply load the colors that you need and start printing. With the ability to print labels 7.8 inches long by 3.9 inches wide, it gives you the ability to produce labels for a wide range of applications. By incorporating GrafTech's world-class cutting technology, you're not limited to using just a few label shapes, but you have the power to cut any shape you can think of, eliminating the need for expensive dies or the added cost of purchasing labels that are pre-cut to a shape that is not customized to your needs. And since you're not limited to one label shape and size, you can produce different labels on one page. Helpful for producing labels on the front and back of consumer product mockups with logos, serial numbers, and model numbers for product prototype approval. And with its high-speed cutting of 12 inches per second, cutting won't be the bottleneck of the operation. What you will come to appreciate about the LCX603 label printer and finishing system is the fact that it both laminates and weeds. Laminating will give your labels that extra protection against weathering, harsh environments, abrasion, as well as chemical spills. Of course, for labels that aren't going to be exposed to these excessive environments, you may wish to exclude the laminate, reducing your costs even further. Waste matrix removal is a process of removing the unwanted material around the printed and cut label design. The LCX603 label printer and finishing system does this automatically, collecting the waste material on a take-up spool so that the final labels are ready to use. Its sophisticated cross-cutter system allows for the labels and label groups to be stacked neatly, prepped for application. The GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system is provided with both USB and network connectivity. With its USB port, it's a simple plug-and-play setup. The Ethernet port allows any computer connected to your company network to produce labels on the LCX603 label printer and finishing system. What about the cost? Think about this. A 3/4 by 1 inch label that is screen printed will cost you on average 82 cents per label, with a minimum order and setup fees. Whereas the LCX603 label printer and finishing system costs a little over 6 cents per label. For 100 labels, that's a cost savings of $76, not to mention the lead time issues and shipping costs. If you're ready to stop outsourcing your labels, but you're afraid of the learning curve, we've created the GrafTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system to be both user-friendly and easy to grasp for everyone on your team. From loading the label material to installing the color ribbons and laminates, Each station can be set up within minutes. The process starts with designing your label. This includes creating a cut path used for cutting the border of the label. And as mentioned previously, these can either be basic shapes or more complex paths that will contour the design. The next step is to process the design. This is simply done by sending the design to the LCX603, similar to sending a design to the printer. Prior to processing the design, simply click on the Preference button within the print window. It's here that you get an overall view of the device and the settings therein, such as its orientation and whether to mirror the job. This tab, the Graphics tab, is where you decide the color configuration, as well as the cut path color assignment. From there, you can simply print, and the LCX603 label printer and finishing system will take it from there. The copy option on the control panel makes long runs a hands-free and computer-free operation. An added convenience and quality control feature is the availability of 10 user-defined preset conditions that can be used to set the label printer setting to the perfect environment for processing specific types of labels. This both reduces setup time and guarantees consistent output. Available materials from GraphTech are silver, white, and clear polyester film materials, as well as paper and synthetic paper stock. Laminates are available in both glossy and matte finishes. Standard ribbon colors range from black, red, blue, green, and yellow in resin and semi-resin formulations. With our clear media, unlike other methods of printing, apply the white ribbon for a background, you get a crisp, clear printing. GraphTech's black ribbon, along with any GraphTech film and laminate, are UL approved for those of you who need labels where the UL certification is required. As you can see, these combinations of material and ribbon provide plenty of choices for creating the labels you need. The GraphTech LCX603 label printer and finishing system produces labels that are finished and ready to go. No more minimum orders, no more waiting for labels. Now you have labels on demand, right now, when you need them, and at reduced costs. It's simple to use, with options for producing the highest quality labels that can last through the harshest environments. If you think about it, can you really afford not to get the GraphTech LCX603 label printer